John 2:9. Hoste egusata ha arkatriklinas ta hudor oinan gegenemenon, kai uk ede pathen estin, hoi de diakonoi ede san, hoi antelekates ta hudor, phone ton numphion ha arkatriklinas. We continue to read here about the wedding at Cana of Galilee. And in elementary Greek, you may have learned hos with the definitions like or as, and it often does mean that. But the more Greek you read, you'll discover that it frequently also means when. You may have learned hates, when, which does mean when, but hos also means when, and here that seems to fit the best. So, but when the chief steward tasted the water that had become wine, notice how the tahudor is in the accusative case, right? Because it's the object there of the verb of tasting. What did he taste? He tasted water. And then when we describe that, because water is neuter accusative singular, we need to describe it with a neuter accusative singular participle. What about that water? Well, it's water which had turned into, which had become wine, right? And the perfect participle fits very well with that, because the perfect conveys the idea of there's an action that's completed and then there's an ongoing state. So this water became wine and it remained wine, right? So he tasted this water which had become wine, and he did not know, that's just the pluperfect of the lexical form oida, but just as oida is usually translated as a present, the pluperfect is translated in English just as a simple past, right? And he did not know from whence it is. That is, in other words, he didn't know from where it came. He didn't know from where it was. But we have this statement, but the servants who had drawn the water knew, right? Again, that's a pluperfect from oida. They knew. And so what happens then? Well, the chief steward, arkatriklinos, the chief steward calls the bridegroom. There again, we have a historical or narrative present. He summons the bridegroom. And I guess it is a verb of speech in the sense of calling, right? Calling out for. But we haven't seen it used yet in John. We've always seen lego mainly as the main historical present or narrative present we've seen. But here we see another verb, and it is a verb of speech used as a historical or narrative present.